This is part 2 of my Yume Nikki Dream Diary experiment. If you have not watched my first video, I would advise you to check it out. The link is down in the description. In short, I'll play for about an hour before I go to sleep. Then when I wake up, I will write down my dreams, if I had any. So far, my dreams have not been too crazy. However, let us begin. I start off by exploring the snow area. I quickly find someone and she gives me an effect, although I am unsure what would truly be the purpose of this one. I end up finding someone sleeping in one of the igloos, although nothing seems to stir them. I found a bed, but nothing happened. I then find another igloo, which teleports me to, the pink sea? Well, I find a balloon which teleports me, and then I get lost for quite a while. However, I find another balloon which takes me to some house? I found a girl inside. I try talking to her, but nothing really happens. I then go around clicking inside the room, but yeah, okay. Some weird creature is here, and when I touch them, I get teleported. Even weirder. I can't really do anything, so I pinch myself and wake up. I chose to go into the forest where I found another frog. I then found a passage to this creepy place where this woman is trying to kill me. I end up clicking this red thing which, sent me to hell. I spent a while navigating through the maze, finding this weird thing. Then I found some stairs, led me to the docks, which I then find a guy crying. Or maybe eating, since I have this effect now. I find another creature which teleports me to some wasteland. I find an exit and this village for some reason makes me a little sad. I explore and click on the creatures, but nothing happens. I enter one building and find a thing. I found another building which has other buildings inside of it. I then found an exit which led to the mural place. I found two effects in this area that I have no clue what their purpose is. First, this creature next to some blood made me blonde. Then another one which gave me long hair. Okay then, here is where I called it a night. This was the first time I felt like the game had an effect on my dreams. I was getting my hair cut, but I was in a place like Silent Hill. Everything was bloody or rusty. The person cutting my hair was speaking in tongues. For some reason, I was fairly calm. Nothing seemed like I was in danger, but it was also quite eerie. I start the night off going to the number world. I feel like this place has more to it. I found the beds once more, but I went back to the blood. Now that I have the bike, I can navigate this easily. I quickly found a new effect, and well then. I clicked the wardrobes and finally found one that would take me out. I check out my new effect, and well, it's exactly what it said it was. I then chose to go into the dark world using my lamp effect to aid me. I found a knife? The implications for this seem dark. I found this ghost dude and they followed me till I reached an exit. This place again, but also it's not the same place? I am a little confused. I found some frowny face cubes. I spent around 10 minutes here but found nothing, so I woke up. I then head into the puddle world and find an umbrella. Seems like I can make it rain when I use it. I then find an exit which leads to the woods. Going down the road, I find some creepy things, which, seems to just keep looping. So I head backwards and I swear that thing just looked at me. I then, find a traffic accident which gives me a traffic light effect. I then find this manhole cover, but it's locked. I head back to the looping road thinking maybe it would stop looping, but no. So I head back. However, when I reach the manhole cover, it has this. Oh boy, this is something. It led me to this black and white area. I head inside, and it's more odd inside. Further in, I find this, and well, okay. I explored the area, but find nothing. I then chose to get some sleep. I, did not sleep on this night. I had a mild case of insomnia. Sucks that this happens, but what can you do? I begin my night exploring the eyeball world. finding this one with an eye in its hand. I wonder what it does, and well, this can be useful. However, I did not want to leave that area just yet, so I went back and explored, finding this tunnel leading me to some footpath with eggplant guys. Then this? Not sure what I am looking at. You can click their tails and make them spit up blood. I find this box and I get teleported to hell. I was stuck here for a good while, however, I found a way out. This lady again. I don't want to go back to hell. I figure why not try the knife and see if it kills them. Which well, at least I am not in hell. I use the eye palm to get out. See, it's useful. I check out the mirror world once more, quickly finding the sewers. Finding this, creature inside. Also, this ghost gave me an effect. Neat. I then saw this entrance and wondered if being small I could go in. To my surprise, I could. It led me down a path and up into the dock area. Found this happy little dude. Then this fisherman which did nothing. I then go back to the hub. I checked out the graffiti world and found a, bathroom? I then go to the mall. I go onto the roof and see this cat looking out. I then went back inside and had a thought. Would the knife work on these NPCs? Well, my curiosity led me to commit murder. I then explored and found myself in the forest once more. However, I am now at the teleport maze. It took me a while, but I completed it and found myself in, back here, but there is a box with a hole. It leads me to some 8-bit place. Seems like I am playing Final Fantasy now. I then found this town where people just keep saying numbers to me. I then go into a dungeon. I explore a good bit till I find a black and white version. It led me to the black and white place again, but different. I press on and find myself deeper in the black and white world. I end up finding this girl. Sadly, it seems like she doesn't really do anything. I then explore and find myself in the block world and I get teleported down. Well, that is annoying. However, I then teleport back and I am able to go back to the black and white world. Okay, I am less annoyed now. I then found this weird eye cube. I explore more, but find nothing, so I call it a night here. I was dreaming that I was off fishing on a lake. I was by myself, which was odd. It was at night and the stars were really bright, so it was not creepy even in the slightest. I just kind of relaxed in my dream. Didn't fish even though I had my pole. A nice dream, truly. I start my night off by going to the numbers area. I remembered that one thing blocking a door, so I killed him. It led me to a, crowded room. The only way forward is senseless violence. In the end, it led me to this weird blue face that did nothing. I killed so many for nothing, but I have to kill more to get back out. I then went into the neon world and got a new effect. I then went into this weird room I have been before, which just led me to hell. I decide to go into this funky area since I have not explored it well enough. I found a cat effect which was cute, then not so cute. I then found this invisible maze area. At the end, it led me to the 8-bit area, but different. I quickly find a house and enter. Inside, there are multiple paths. I then found this Oni, which gave me its effect. Later on, I find this weird room with NPCs, but they didn't do anything, so I just killed them. I pressed on, however, it just led me to where I've been before. I ended up going to the candle world and found nothing, but when I entered the bed, it sent me to this creepy staircase place with arms. I then saw an elevator and took it, but it led me to a place I have been before. I tried going back, but it just took me to the mall. That sucks, but I opt to get some rest. I dreamed I was isekai'd into a Game Boy game. In it, I was trying to figure out the world, but everything was so pixely. I thought to myself only I would get transported to some dumb game world. Most of the dream was me wandering around a Zelda-like game. The final night, I chose to go to the wilderness area since I have really not explored it much. Thankfully, I remembered a good way to get there, although I got lost in the bramble. After a while, I find this creature which gives me the towel effect. This looks kinda comfy. I then explore some more and find this weird shack. Inside there's just this thing doing something. I continue to explore and find an opening in the fence. Suddenly, some of the tendrils that are scattered around have eyes. I then find the staircase, which takes me a while to get to the top. I then reach this park? I touch this thing and it teleports away. Further in, there's some people near a ledge. Also, a light flying? I head into the building and find some flowers. I touch them and go back, but the entrance changed. Inside now is a dark maze. I then find this ghost, which gives me an effect. I wander around a bit, only encountering these creatures. However, it was getting late, so I called it a night. I dreamed that I was back in an old apartment that I used to live in. It was tiny and had 3 college guys living in it. However, it was at night and there was no power. I roamed around but found out I was locked inside. I was not scared or anything, but just kind of chilled there for a while. That was all that I recall of the dream. So my dreams didn't really get affected too much like they did with LSD Dream Emulator. I would say my dreams were a little bit more obtuse this time. Now I did finish the game fully after this. I was missing Poop Hair and the witch's outfit. Oddly enough, I never talked with anyone. I saw some people running around, but they never spoke. The game has a much smaller player base than its sequels, so maybe that's why, which I'll be doing the experiment with it soon. I am unsure how many days I should set aside for it, however. I will also do something with its fan games. Anyway, I would recommend this for anyone, but I do have to give an epilepsy warning. I cut out as much as I could that I thought could trigger it. If you are curious, you should check out the Yume Nikki online project. However, this is the end of the video, so see you next time.